Welcome to the Live It Up Show. This is the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life you absolutely love. I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson. Amy is out today, so we're going to be talking with two members of an organization that I recently ran across. I was immediately interested, and I wanted to find out more about them since it appeared that we were aligned in significant ways in our thinking and missions. As you know, when I meet people who are out there making a difference for their communities, I feel inspired. And I want to share that inspiration with you. So today we'll be visiting with Steve Stroud and Drew Zabrocki from the Ripple Foundation, which is located right here in Wenatchee. As you know, we believe health is the first wealth here on Live It Up. So I thought it'd be fun to visit with these two because they're all about where every source of health begins, which is right up here, right? So let's find out what they're all about, what they offer, and how can you get involved as well. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that if you have questions that you would like us to answer on or off the air, you can always email them directly to me at fletcher@fletcherellingson.com. You don't need to suffer. There are answers and solutions and ways to get unstuck and move forward powerfully. Okay, let's get to today's guests. So welcome to the show, Steve Stroud and Drew Zabrocki. Zabrocki.
Good enough.
Yeah, Zabrocki, right?
Thank you,
Okay.
Fletcher. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. So we're talking about the Ripple Foundation today, right?
Yep.
But before we do that, as I mentioned to you before the show, I want to take a little departure from what I normally do on this show. There's a lot of, you open up the newspaper, you go online and look at your favorite news source or whatever, and it's just all kind of doomsday, gloom, the sky is falling. And so what I wanted to do is, there's been just so much of that. I want to do something to remind people that life is still happening and there's plenty of good out there. It's not all doomsday out there. It's not doom and gloom. We're not going to hell in a handbasket here. But if you look at the news or talk to people out on the street, you get the indication that, boy, things are really terrible. Mm-hmm. I don't want to diminish what's going on, financially or with the virus or anything like that. But let's take a moment and focus on something that's good, something on positive, something that feels good, right? Because when you read all that stuff, you don't feel good in your body. At least I don't.
Yeah. Right.
And so what I wanted to do is I just wanted to find out from you guys, what's going well in your lives? What's something that you're grateful for? What's something that feels good when you focus on it? Drew, you want to start us off there?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's so easy to get caught up in the chaos. Just so many moving parts. And just the other day, life's events were all happening too quickly, and I was running from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and I get overwhelmed and have this feeling that, gosh, am I going to be there on time? Am I going to have this done? I need to do this or I need to do that. And it was overwhelming. And I looked at my daughter, and she just said something so simple to me about, well, we're just here right now. Mm-hmm. And it just brought it down to, like in all the chaos of life, if we can just focus on being here now, being present in the moment. And it's amazing just how kids say these simple things that resonate through our life and remind us of what's really most important. And so some of the things that are going really well with us is taking the time to enjoy those little moments with the family. Yeah. Whether it's walking our new puppy around the block and seeing life through a new eyes of a puppy, or just hanging out with my daughter and just enjoying those little moments. It doesn't have to be something spectacular. Right. And I think that's been some of the most fun I've had recently.
I love it. Yeah. Getting grounded to the present.
Yeah, just being here.
Which is because that's all there is.
It's hard to do though, right? Yeah. It's really easy to be up here, and when you see the news flying all these issues at you and work and people and relationships, and it mounds up and it's intense.
Yes.
How can we remember to be present in the moment? What kind of tools can we have ourselves? You say it's up here. I think it's also here. It's in our
Absolutely,
hearts, right?
yeah.
And so how do we bring that awareness back? And we'll talk about the foundation in a moment. That's actually what we do.
Yeah.
But it was cool to just put that into practice and experience that.
I love it. Yeah. And also, being present. It's just a great reminder that because that's all we have right now. The future doesn't exist.
What else
The
matters?
past doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And all those fears are future based, right? So
and they're not real.
They're not They're not.
We
they're not
manifest
real.
them ourselves, right?
Yes.
Or choose to or choose not to.
Yeah. Good. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
Steve, how about you? What's working well in your life?
So many things, to be honest with you, and
I love
I'm
it.
grateful for those things. And I'm going to segue to what Drew had talked about, because basically the simplest things, when life gets complicated and life gets busy and chaotic, it's the simplest thing that bring us back to that moment. So, I'm fortunate that I have a profession that I love, right? And I've been at it over 30 years, and it's rewarding. But, at the end of the day, I'm ready to go home. I close the door, and I'm definitely ready to get home. And I drive in my driveway, and my dog comes out to greet me. I mean, and, no matter what mood I'm in or where I've been, he's thrilled. He's thrilled that I'm home. It's like, oh, look at this guy. He's thrilled. And then I get to go in the house, and the kids are there, and the house is chaotic. It's a mess, and this is where we get to practice this presence, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like that could irritate me, or I could say, can I be present with this family, with these kids, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So.
I love it. Again, the theme of being present, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I love the story with your dog too. Like, our pets are like always happy to see us. Oh my gosh, he's here again! Yahoo!
Yeah,
This deal.
This is the best.
If you want to experience unconditional love, you get it from a dog. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously,
That's for sure.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'll go next. I've been just extremely grateful for my mobility. Every day, my wife and I, we have tea and we do our gratitude journals. And the thing that's been showing up day after day for quite some time now is one of the things I'm writing down is I'm so grateful for my mobility. I mean, it feels so good, and I've begun exercising outside now. In fact, I brought my bike down here today. I'm going to do a loop around the trail there after this. But I'm just so grateful for that. I see some people who have limited mobility or significantly impaired mobility, and I have had some issues with that too. And I'm just like, whoa, mobility! What a blessing that we take for granted so much of the time, right? Just like even being able to move our hands, being able to sit, being able to walk. Just enormously grateful for that. And then I gotta echo what you guys said. Just family, being present, just being grounded in that moment. Those moments when you are present can feel so rich, right? Yeah. So good stuff. Thanks so much for sharing that and playing that game with me. All right. So we're here today to talk about the Ripple Foundation, and we're going to get to that right after this commercial. So stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. We are here, we're talking with Steve and Drew from the Ripple Foundation. Let's get to the questions because I want to find out more about it. So Steve, thanks for being on the show again. And the Ripple Foundation, what is it, what's it about, and what's the purpose and mission?
Right, good question. So the Ripple Foundation is a nonprofit educational foundation. We've been in business as a foundation for about 10 years now. Our goal is to empower people to transform their lives and heal their relationships.
I love it.
And we drive the goal of being authentic and being present, and offering the opportunity for that to occur. Because we talk a lot about presence, right? Well, how do you know you're present? How do you get there? What if you're having a stressful event? So how do we know we can get to that place?
Yeah. Super cool, because this is something I talk a lot with my clients too. We all have ideas of what it all means to be authentic and be present. it's another thing to actually practice it with intention
Right.
and create opportunities to practice
Right.
it.
Yeah, the foundation is very experiential based.
Mm-hmm.
So we offer that opportunity, and we offer those experiential retreats and classes and workshops that I'm
Got
sure
it.
we'll get to in a few. But
Yeah.
what do you
Well,
think?
I was just going to build on that. It's one thing to have an idea of how can I be more mindful in our life, or to read books and take classes and participate in a lot of material that's out there for depth work or self-development. But to actually be in a place where you can experience with others and be in that moment is just tremendous. So that's what I really like about how the foundation holds its classroom events, outdoor experiential retreats, where you're actually surrounded with other folks in a very comfortable environment, and you're able to reconcile how do I deal in this particular situation, or recall, hey, I'm in this particular moment, and when I'm in that situation, I get stuck and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Or when I get in this situation, I get angry and I get confused. Or maybe if I'm in this situation, I check out. And so to be able to realize, hey, this is how I respond in the moment. This is how maybe the people that I care about, my family, my friends, my coworkers, are maybe responding in these moments. And let's put to practice some of these things that we've read about or that we've learned about,
Yeah.
and kind of build the tools, right?
Yes.
So that's what I think what I enjoy about the foundation is it's not just about the framework or the construct and the concepts. It's about how do we make them our own? How do we make them useful, present in the moment? And I think that's what's unique
Right.
about how we do things.
Yeah. Cool. And I love the what's neat about that is providing a structure where people can come and try this on, like
Yeah,
with
exactly.
intention. Like, hey,
Right.
we're going to think about these things outside of work, outside of other distractions. We're going to think about my responses and reactions and how I might be able to do something differently, make a different choice to get a different result.
Choose a response
Yeah.
as opposed to a reaction, right? And then the other thing is just keeping it simple and light. Like there's no expectations, right? You don't have to do anything. You can literally just participate or not.
Yeah.
Like one example is the mindful facilitation workshop that we do, and it's depth work that people find profoundly useful in their personal lives, but it's really packaged in more of a professional setting. So it's a one-day workshop, and it's great for teachers, facilitators, business managers, or even just team members that say, hey, how can we be more productive in relationships, whether it be in our church or in our work or even just among our family, and how can we create that productive response as opposed to a reaction? Like you
Yes.
said, I can show up and I can be angry about this, or I can choose to respond differently. And be
Right.
present.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah, there's a number of ways to look at it. One of the way we look at it is we have an experience, right? And then can we bring an expanded awareness to that experience? Because if we don't, what we do is we have the same pattern.
Yes.
If we bring an expanded awareness to the experience, then we drop into, is this where I want to be? Is this a pleasant, unpleasant, or a neutral experience? If it's an unpleasant experience, do I have the tools to create a different dynamic, first within myself, which
Yeah.
then reflects out into the world? So if I have the tools, and then do I have the ability, right? And that's a simple flow chart of how we begin to impact ourselves and others in relationship, right? Because if we don't expand our awareness that, well, something's happening and this isn't comfortable,
Right.
in a relational dynamic, do I want to be here?
Yeah.
And sometimes, here's the truth, sometimes like I'm driving down the street and I'm frustrated and say, I just feel like being frustrated, right? So I said, okay, that's a choice.
Yep.
Like I'm going to be frustrated for the next 10 minutes and I'm just here. Anytime we have a choice, right, about how we behave, whether we're reactive or responsive, that's my definition of being enlightened. Because we have a choice of how we want to be in any moment. And then do we have the tools and the ability to change that if that's our desire?
Yeah, great, good stuff. And I love the concept of expanding our awareness because, it's my opinion that our life is just the sum of our awareness, right?
Right.
So if your awareness is this much, okay, that's how big your life is.
Yeah.
Expand that awareness, your sense of life grows, right? So it's a beautiful thing. So real quick, what led to the formation of this foundation?
I'll take that one. I've been teaching body-mind, mindful classes, energy dynamics, energy medicine classes for 20 years.
Mhm.
And somewhere in that period of time, I decided, what I want to do is I want to go beyond what I can do myself. So it's really to gather kindred souls,
Yeah.
if that's a word, in a co-creative process,
Mhm.
because I love the co-creative process.
Mhm.
And there are certain things I'm really great at, and there are certain things I'm not. So
Yeah.
to get bigger and to take this work out into the community, it was just a matter of, let's gather some people. And we sat around my kitchen table for 2 years, creating the foundation of the foundation.
Mhm.
And then, got the nonprofit and all that. But
I love
pretty
it.
much where it came from.
Yeah, so because we can only do so much by ourselves.
Exactly.
And then at some point, we need to bring team to it.
Yep.
And as soon as you bring team to something, you just exponentially,
Yeah.
are able to reach further and further and further.
Right. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's see, we got time for one more. One of you share why is this work so important to you?
I think the reason why I continue to volunteer and support the foundation is because I have witnessed in my own self profound growth. I mean, there are several times where I look back to points along my path where, there's been a fundamental shift in how I view things, how I choose to respond, and it's affected my relationships in tremendous ways. And much of that points back to the core teachings or offerings of the foundation. Some of that before the foundation existed in the 20-some years before. But what's really cool is when I see that in others.
Yeah.
When now I can witness that same thing and not only witness and be gracious that they have that experience, but then I also have the opportunity to see it through their eyes and maybe realize that, wow, I still have so much more growth to do myself.
Yeah.
Right? It's just this continuous journey. And once you're involved in that, plus people are really fun and it's cool and we have a lot of good time and good food and good relationships that extend beyond, just the work that we do.
Yes.
So that's why I continue to support the foundation.
I love it.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it feels good. It's
It does.
exciting,
It's
right?
great.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get involved, right? We have all kinds of different folks, from professionals and techs and engineers and farmers and health practitioners and teachers. I mean, you name it, right?
Yes,
and it's
yep.
just a great constellation of people, and we just have a lot of fun.
I love it. Great answer. Yeah. Okay. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but stay with us because we're going to be back more and learn more about the Ripple Foundation. Hey everybody, welcome back to Live It Up. We are here with members of the Ripple Foundation, which is located here in Wenatchee. We got Drew and Steve. And Steve, I'd like to ask you, how have you seen these courses impact some of the attendees?
Right. Similar to what Drew said, but let me pick another finer point. What I've seen almost consistently throughout our coursework is that people are able to resolve conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I don't mean that they're just like they've come to a solution and they've made an agreement.
Yes.
But they've resolved the conflict within themselves.
Beautiful.
And when they're able to do that because they've worked the depth work or the dynamics of what creates that conflict, which usually comes from what we call a demand. Like we call it a demand, but it's like I expect this of life, or I demand that you take out the trash, or whatever the conflict might be, right? Even if it's small like that. If we resolve that within ourselves, then it resolves within our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And probably throughout the coursework, that's one of the most profound themes that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a true resolution because it's from the internal spot.
I love that. Yeah, a resolution. I like that word too. You're resolving to be a different way.
Right, because that's where we're most empowered.
Yeah.
As soon as we expect or demand that somebody or something be different, we are disempowered.
Yes.
As soon as we take that responsibility and the ability to respond to that situation, then we're empowered. That's the most powerful place we can be.
Yeah.
And that's foundational work of what we do.
Yeah. Good stuff. I'm really excited about these guys and what they're doing. So we're going to talk in a minute about how you can get involved, but this is wonderful work, super important work. I mean, I'm a huge fan of this work. I'm a huge fan of you guys and what you're doing. We have just a few minutes left, so you've been busy writing.
Writing,
So tell us about the book you've written.
I've published my first book. It's called Quest, which takes us on a journey, living an enlightened life in the mundane world. So, it's a compelling mix of short stories, scientific facts, ancient wisdom, and New Age thinking that takes us on a journey to answer one of life's most perplexing questions: how to live an engaged, mindful, present life when we're just faced with these mundane, like, okay, I got to pick up the socks, I got to do the laundry.
Yeah.
If we can't find mindfulness and enlightenment when we're doing the dishes, we're not going to find it in a cave in Tibet.
Yes.
Right? And so this is a little bit of a story, a little bit of a workbook that reflects a lot of the teachings of the foundation, because a lot of the teachings of the foundation have been put in the book and come from me, basically. And so it really brings together that journey, that quest for that, trying to find what I call enlightenment, which is the ability to have a choice of how and who we are in the world.
Yes.
And the tools that empower us to do that. And not just, mask our way through life and pretend things are good, but really get to the depth of who we are, that authentic self.
Yeah. I really appreciate this, living an enlightened light in the mundane world. Yeah, because how do you, when you're doing the dishes or cleaning the car, right?
Right.
I mean, I've said, I tell my clients this all the time, if you actually looked into our house,
Right.
you might think that my wife and I are crazy, because one of our practices are focusing on what feels good
Right.
all the time, and we
Yeah.
say it out loud a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't having tea and sitting with the cat feel good? Yeah, sure does. It feels really great.
Right.
Like I may not be enjoying cleaning out the car, but like, now you know what's going to feel really good? When I get back into this car and it's all cleaned out.
Right.
It's going to feel good. It's not going to feel good, babe? Yeah, it's going to feel really good.
Right.
I mean, we are constantly trying to, or not constantly trying to, we are frequently putting our attention on what feels good, and then it feels good in the body.
Right.
So, yeah, with the mundane, right?
Right. Yeah, it's
Everything.
99% of our life is mundane.
Yeah.
Right.
In the last few seconds we've got here, tell us, first of all, where we can get the book, and how can people get involved with some of your courses or in other ways with the foundation?
Sure. The book is available at your local bookstore. It's available at Barnes & Noble. It's available on Amazon.
Okay, great.
So there you go.
I already got my copy.
Sweet.
So it's perfect.
Cool.
And we have a lot of cool things coming up, right?
I'll let you take that.
Right here at the end of the month, we have mindful facilitation. And I think I just mentioned that earlier, where it's taking these very useful constructs and touchstones and making them accessible. Building the toolbox for everyone to participate in a very compressed time frame. So it's a one-day course, great for educators, leaders, anyone that's a team participant. And, how can we be more productive in our relationships and more useful in connecting with those that are around us and in those relationships, whether it be family, friends, or at work.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible course. I've had several of my teammates join us as well, and some of my employees, and seen wonderful results when we interact with our customers and our clients. Oftentimes we have different personalities that come together on a team. How do we try to create positive and mindful responses, choose to respond versus react? That's an awesome one coming up at the end of this month. You can get on our website. It's theripplefoundation.com.
TheRippleFoundation.com.
.org.
.org. They'll both get you
Okay.
there. Fortunately,
We own both.
but we are
Right.
a nonprofit organization. So theripplefoundation.org, and you'll also see some incredible work that we've done with Elders Speak. So Elders Speak is this incredible event. It's a year-long event where we work with esteemed elders in our community, and they go through a journey. We document that journey on film using students with the local skills center to tell the story, which culminates in October, usually on Grandparents' Day, in September on Grandparents' Day, where we come together at the Sleeping Lady and they share their experiences of the journey of their life and wisdom. And it's a wonderful community event that's been tremendously impactful for not just the elders themselves as they reflect back, but for everyone that's involved, the whole generations that are connected.
So cool.
And lots
so
happening this
powerful.
summer as well, right?
Yeah.
The website, theripplefoundation.org, has all this information. Some of the elders, Wilford Woods was on prior to his passing, Harriet Bullitt, Carl Campbell has been on there. This year we got two I can think of off the top of my head would be Dave Notter, esteemed physician in the area, and Jim Telford.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
incredible
Yeah.
people.
Right on.
So it's a very impactful thing. Very.
I love
we
it.
could do a whole show on that.
Yeah,
I
we'll
would recommend
bring you
it.
guys back and
Yeah.
we'll talk more. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely want to spend more time with you guys.
Yeah,
So.
excellent.
Excellent.
But for now, we got to go. So
Okay.
you know what to do. It's time to get out there. Be a source of kindness. Be a source of contribution. You do have something that this world needs, and I believe in you.